What is going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy DXB Crypto. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, I want to talk about TAO halving. I want to talk about the massive news. Really big up to SEI and Kalshi. And of course, we want to look at the market really quick. What is the Fed doing? What are the liquidation heat maps you need to be concerned about? Of course, what is the price target for Bitcoin? And finally, we will also look at the overall market conditions right now, okay? So we talked about the Fed, guys, and I've always said to you, follow the money. Ignore everything else, just follow the money. Here you can see the Fed balance sheet. We talked about it. QE does not equate, end of QT does not equate to, start of QE, right? So when they cross over QT, typically what happens is, of course, sell the news, the market then dips, and then they move into a phase of QE. But for that to happen, further things have to be, we have to have further breaks, whether that comes with a major dip in the stock market, whether that comes in some kind of an AI crash, whatever happens. Of course, people are saying now the lows are in. Technically, we still need to be careful. Why? Because if you look at the Bitcoin chart, I've actually had this quite mapped out quite well. Really, we had the manipulation candle there. We had the Michael Saylor order blocks over here, which are what I would say the bottom line for this cycle's price. We may actually revisit. So the way that's going to happen right now, more than likely, if you go to the liquidation heat map on the monthly, it's likely to do something like this. This is the price point where we are now to 100,000. There's $1 billion plus in this range here, okay? So what tends to happen in a situation like this is we will have some kind of a dead cat bounce between these levels where we are, and then that sends us back down into the into Earth, right? So we take liquidity up here. It would be fantastic to see a different market structure play out altogether, where there's huge liquidity sitting between 100,000 to, of course, forming a new lower high, passing 107. But I doubt that. So we can only prepare for what we can see right now. And right now, after bouncing off here quite beautifully, and by the way, which I called out with those two blue lines, you can see here, 92,000. And I did share this with the VIP crew. And 90,000 is what I was expecting when everybody said they're selling their Bitcoin here, right? So if we come up, I think we take liquidity up to anything between now and 98 to about 100K. And then we come back down. We have a quiet period. The Fed kind of sorts itself out. And then we then go again. Okay. So that's a very clear, definitive plan. And of course, now I want to talk about the subnets. I want to talk about, before the subnets, actually, sorry, let me give you the other piece of news. Kalshi X say this is absolutely humongous because Kalshi is massive for prediction markets, valued at 11 billion. So SEI's USDC will now be on Kalshi immediately, right? So this is a real-time global event, tradable outcomes, and USDC is live with SEI. Okay, and big up to SUI as well. SUI has been doing pretty well, up 30+%. You can see here in the top 100, I think it was one of the biggest movers. I love the SUI network right now, $6 billion in terms of market cap. Of course, the 27% now was about 30 plus for the 24 hours. So that's good news. So we did have relatively decent bounce. So now we talk about Bittensor TAO, where we are in terms of price, what we need to do with TAO overall, and of course, what are the subnets that are pretty prominent in the TAO world. Now, subnets can vary, and there's so many subnets. A lot of them come and go. But let's talk about the halving first. So the halving is basically November 2025, December 2025, the halving should be activated, which would be the first halving, and this is concerning block reward emissions. Okay, the first halving happens now, pretty much reducing the daily emissions from 7,200 TAO to 3,600 TAO per day, when you consider the price difference, that's going to be absolutely massive in terms of the number of available TAO that could be dumped into the market daily. Now, this is similar to the Bitcoin's model in terms of reducing supply entering circulation. And in this particular case, it is the rewards that really keep the prices down. Now, the value impact here is the halving adds a shock, supply shock to the rewards. So the rewards absolutely go through a supply shock. So, you know, from 7,200, right? 7,200 back to 3,600. Okay. So that is a massive difference, and that should really drive up the price, in my opinion. Okay. So this is really, really key when you're looking at TAO as an investment. Okay. Increased scarcity, of course. The cap is 21 million. Higher mining costs. Validators need higher TAO prices to remain profitable. Staking dynamics, less inflation, less dilution, and all of that. Okay. Top performing subnets are ranked, and these subnets are all doing different things. Okay. Now, the subnet one is quite simple right now. The most traffic, the core efficient subnet with the best outcome emissions is Root, followed by Shoots, followed by Liam, Regis AI, Targon, Vanta, Affine, Templar, and of course Gradients. Now you may be wondering what the hell's going on. This is obviously so, you know, one could be text prompting, two could be trading, three could be, I don't know, image creation, decentralized AI could be 10, advanced computational vision. The best subnet in its own category typically has the highest daily revenue generation, meaning that it's got the highest use, okay, in terms of participation and RWA real world use. That's what's really driving the demands here. So when you see the subnets, they are driven by their emissions. Their emissions are driven by demand in the real world. I hope you get that. Okay. So focus on subnets with actual utility than experimental ones. And I'll give you a quick update here. So the subnet prices obviously are pretty stable here. But what you will see is it's already telling you what the top emissions are. Okay. It's already telling you 8% of TAO emissions come from Shoots. Affine has 6.3%. Liam has 5%. Targon has 4%. Vanta, Templar, right? Don't let anyone, you know, tell you, oh, this is the best subnet, mate. Yeah, Regis AI is brilliant. But of course, in terms of emissions, there's ones that are bigger. Now, in terms of registration, this is where the value of TAO really comes on to its own. By the way, if you're obviously doing your research, congratulations to you. There's not a lot of interest in crypto. I make these daily videos because A, is my job. I'm here every day. And B, because the research will allow me and my followers to be able to have information consistently on hand once they are set on a particular project, okay? So that's why I talk about many of my conviction projects, because it does help people understand these, in case you obviously don't know the reasons I do this. Now, you will see something here, and this is called demand, right? The demand for the subnets. And sometimes, I have talked about this before, but you will see gradual demand, and between June and September here, there was absolutely no demand for subnet registrations. And then what happened in September, we took off, and of course it fluctuated ever since. And this is driven by the halving event. Okay. So that you just have to understand that sometimes it's not really understood by the masses, and it's not participated by the masses because they don't, it's not easy to get something like a TAO. Okay. So they have basically delisted or deregistered tons of shit coins here. So at risk. And what tends to happen is they give them immunity or lack of immunity and specify a particular time. So, you know, remaining immunity, blah, 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 100 days. And you can see here, the network obviously has particular subnets at risk. And that's good to see. And I think there will be a particular growth. Not all of these obviously are bad, but they will, you know, registration, they will absolutely be registering a particular subnet and they will flag them. That is very, very key. So in my opinion, Bittensor TAO, obviously under $300, fully diluted here is 6 billion, 3 billion in terms of the market cap, daily volume, 90 million. Sorry, 190 million. Of course, volume to market cap ratio is 6%. And we are still in early stages with this. There are those critics that say the TAO subnet is not understood by people, and it's only understood by obviously boffins and IT people and stuff like that. Listen, at the end of the day, you have to understand what you're buying from a growth perspective, right? We are not data scientists. We look at charts. We look at obviously price performance over time, and we look at things that we can actually get into that will allow us to make a you know, big money down the line. And in my opinion, there is a certain barrier of intelligence to be able to participate in this, because one of the reasons is when you look at the miner, validator, subnet owner kind of three components, which are very, very key, or actually if you call it the network participants, right? Then there's the core mechanism. There's the peer ranking system. There's, you know, training neutral networks which learn the value of their neighbors. They score and accumulate digital ledger where high-ranking peers are monetarily rewarded, I should say. Number 3, incentive system. They use Bittensor uses a ranking mechanism, resistance to collusion. Up to 50% of the network weight ensures honest participation through stake-weighted scoring. So these are not your average things to understand. You know, think of like, it's like almost like, you know, Polkadot, you know, when you go through their tech, it's not, you know, it's an amazing tech. People don't understand it. Dynamic TAO. There's a lot to learn here. But what I would say is, if you just keep it to a peer-to-peer marketplace for training AI, I think you will absolutely understand what this is. Again, I did look at the other side. For example, this is the Coinbase 50 index, where they have 50 tokens, and there's 50, Bittensor TAO is not in it. Why? Because they're a hash graph. People understand it. Mantle, I don't think anyone understands what Mantle does, right? Simple VeChain. Everybody knows what VeChain is in logistics, right? Flare, a great layer 1. SEI, fantastic layer 1, very fast. Immutable X, a gaming coin, right? So when they do something like this, okay, and they don't have Bittensor TAO, for example, and they are doing their Q4 rebalancing, right? And you start to think, okay, DXB, TAO is massive, right? TAO, Casper, it's not there. So you have to sometimes go against the grain. We know this is like, you know, second cycle coins, right? Majority of those are second cycle coins. So I hope you understand that the TAO halving, reducing from 7,000 TAO coming into the market daily, 200 to 6,000, 3,600 will have an immense value for the network. Okay, whether people understand it or not, it's all being driven by whales at the moment, Barry Silbert, and you know, at the end of the day, you should do your further research. But I do believe Bittensor TAO, SUI are some of the best cryptocurrencies available to the common man right now. Some more than others, but this hasn't run. I do believe one day we will see this trading, you know, $10,000 and above, maybe one day even $50,000. But I'm taking a 5-year stance here, and I'm not looking to, it's one of the ones in my portfolio that's not here for a quick win. Be lucky if I buy, I don't know, 50 a month, 20 a month, I don't know, but just add to my convictions, you know, slowly grow the bags, and over time, one of my, you know, biggest winners should be TAO. All right, guys, smash a like anyway, and God bless you all. Take care. Bye.